Page 57, we are on section 3.2, and combining functions is where we're at. What I have here are three different functions. One of them is defined by f, one is defined by g, and the other one is defined by h, right here. The fact that these functions have a letter name helps, because then it helps you figure out what function we are describing when you are being asked to do something. For instance, A, we're going to be combining functions. They want us to combine f of x with g of x. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be replacing f of x with 5x plus 6 and g of x with 2x minus 9. Using what we did when we were looking at like terms and unlike terms, we're going to combine these two by combining like terms. If I distribute a positive 1 to get rid of the parentheses, this is what it looks like. I can combine the 5x and the 2x, and I can combine the 6 and the negative 9, and there we have it. The thing with combining functions is this says f of x plus g of x. You can also write that as the f plus g of x. That's another way you can write it. And that's my final answer. Here is a situation where we are combining functions by subtracting. I'm going to go ahead again and put my set of parentheses. I'm replacing g of x with 2x minus 9, and I'm going to replace f of x with 5x plus 6. This time, because we have a negative symbol, it's a little bit more work involved when you are distributing to get rid of the parentheses. Once you do that, this is how it should look. That negative 1 gets distributed to both terms in the second set of parentheses. Like terms, combine positive 2 with negative 5, and negative 9 and negative 6. There it is. Now, notice again that they asked you to do it with g of x minus f of x. You can also write the g minus f of x, it's another way, equals negative 3x minus 15. The next one, they used that different way of asking you h minus g of x. Here's the h, here's going to be the g. The h is 3x plus 4, the g is 2x minus 9. We're going to distribute a positive 1 and then distribute a negative 1 and combine like terms. So the h minus g of x equals x plus 13. We're combining functions to define kind of like a new function. What happens when you're in a situation where you're combining functions, but instead of adding or subtracting them, you're being asked to multiply or divide? So here is, we have f of x times g of x. You can also write it like this, f times g of x. So I'm going to take my f of x and plug it into the first set of parentheses, and my g of x and plug it into the second set of parentheses. Because there's no, we're not adding or subtracting, we're multiplying, we have to use either the double distribution or the box method. If I did double distribution, I would have 10x squared minus 45x plus 12x minus 54. And then I can combine the like terms on the inside. Negative 45 combined with a positive 12 is negative 33. And there it is. The f times g of x. What happens if you're in a situation where you have to divide? Believe it or not, this is much easier than it looks. Just so you know, you can do it this way, you can write it whatever. I just write the g of x on the top and the h of x on the bottom, and I leave it, and that's it. And so it's a little bit easier. You don't have a whole lot of simplifying I can do, so we're going to have to leave it like that. What I want you to do is notice that page 58 is actually an exact replica of page 57, so we don't really have to do a whole lot with that. I don't know how that happened. But page 59 is kind of an example you might see in your homework or on an assessment. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and I want you to do A, B, C, and D, all 4 of them. Don't do the bottom example yet. And then you can come back and check your answers over with me. So go ahead and pause now. Okay, here are the answers to the examples. The very first one, after combining f of x plus g of x and simplifying, you would have this trinomial. For B, after combining g, take away f of x, you should have this trinomial. C, I had to do a little work actually, and I did it up here. I did a 2 by 3 box. After multiplying things out and combining them, you should have those 4 terms. And D is probably the easiest one because you really just have to substitute in for f of x and g of x, and you can leave it just as it is. Let's look at the example that we have at the end here, where not only are we asked to combine functions by adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing, but they also have us evaluating for a number. Now, let me tell you that you can do the combining first and then plug the number in if you want. That's probably the best way if you have lots of different numbers and examples that they want you to use, but it looks like all these questions are asking for the same quantity for f of 5 and g of 5. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the f of 5, which is 23, 15 plus 8, and the g of 5, which is negative 30 plus 9, which is negative 21. And then I'm going to do what this tells me to do. F of 5 is 23 combined with the g of 5, so this is going to be 2. The f of 5, subtract the g of 5. 2 negatives next to each other with nothing in between become positive, so that's a positive 44. If you multiply them, 23 times negative 21, I'm going to have to put that in my calculator. Negative 483. And then we have the f of 5 over the g of 5. There you go. Much easier for this type of question if you are able to do this first. Unless you have to find and evaluate lots of different numbers. If they give you a number and it consistently is asking for the same value plugged into that function, then you can plug it in first and find out what its value is and go ahead and substitute that. If not, you'll have to combine the functions just like we were doing above.